What's up, guys? Thank you so much for watching the last video and the video before that. We're now on to part 3 of my journey. Before I started this, I thought I was going to do 2 parts, but there's no way I'm going to do 2 like 45-minute videos for you guys. I don't want you guys sitting by your computers too long. But what I do want to get to now is my journey after I got my injury, right? So I got my injury. I had surgery on my appendix, right? So I was out for the summer. And it's crazy how all this sort of works out together. Is I learned a lot. I learned a ton from that experience, from that time, and it was able to propel me forward, right? It was able to give me a new motivation to the game of soccer. I realized really quickly, that this is what I want to do. This is what I have to do now. And me and my dad started talking. My dad is English, so we started talking about, possibly going to Europe. Like, I think he felt a little bit bad for me that I missed such a great opportunity due to injury. And we started talking about going to Europe. So I ended up, after that summer was over, I missed the whole summer. 2 months out, missed the whole summer. We ended up planning a trip for me and my dad to go in August. We went to England. This was the first time I went to England, and I was able to train with a great club, Sheffield Wednesday. I actually went to West Ham first. Was going to go see my friend Daniel Johnson, who will be on the IG Live later this week. I was able to train there for 2 days. 2 days, we knew one of the guys there, and I was able to train at West Ham under 16s. Again, I was 14 at the time. I was able to train with the under 16s and absolutely pooped the bed, right? It was one of the worst performances of my life, the worst 2 days of my life, right? Soccer-wise. And I was devastated, honestly. Obviously, like, you look at it like this is a great opportunity, train at one of the best youth clubs in the game. Players like Lampard, John Terry, Michael Carrick, Jermaine Defoe, all these people played at this club. At the time, they had a lot of good players at the time. They were in the championship at the time in the first division, in the championship for the first team. But it was like, oh my goodness, this is West Ham Academy and all this stuff. And I had just gotten off surgery. I was not 100% ready to go. And here we are. I'm at West Ham Academy training with the U16s. I'm 14 again. I'm 14, training with the U16s, and I absolutely do horrible. It was the worst performance of my life, even to this day, probably. But the next couple of days, I ended up going to Sheffield Wednesday, right? And Sheffield Wednesday is a championship club. I said this in the first video, but it's a championship club. They were originally in the first division in the Premier League. They were a very, very big club back in the day, in the 90s and the 80s. And I loved Sheffield. I loved it. Like, we were there for 3 days, I believe. And we went, and I was able to train with the 18s, the U18s. Remember, I'm 14 years old, and I get to train with the 18s. Now, you have to understand, at this time, I was just like, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. Whatever happens, happens. This is an opportunity. This is an experience. Let's just see what happens. And so they throw me in with the 18s because the 16s didn't train that day. So they're like, oh, let's just throw you in with the 18s. Threw me in with the 18s. We played an 11v11 match. I played right mid. As I said before, I was a right back at the time. I was a right back, but they put me in a right mid. I enjoyed it. It was probably the most fun I've ever had playing soccer. And it went very well. It went very, very well, and I was very happy with my performance. I was big for my age at the time. I was big for 14, so it kind of worked out. In this time, me and my dad are talking, whatever, and I said, this is what I want to do. I want to play in Europe. I want to play in England. And so we talked to the coach who actually ended up coming to America, coaching in the MLS, and that's a story for another time. But he actually came to America and coached at Portland Timbers. So all this is happening, right? All this is happening. I literally, from about 4 months prior, 4 or 5 months prior, I had gone from being in a hospital bed, having surgery on my appendix. I was out for 2 months, couldn't do anything. I was in bed for 2 months. Missed the opportunity that I really wanted. This was the opportunity I really wanted. I'd never even thought about Europe. I'd never even thought about England. But this is the opportunity I really wanted. And I wanted to go prove myself, because the year before I had not done well. I really wanted to prove myself. And I couldn't now. It was done. It was over. That opportunity was over, and I never went back to ODP. I never went back to Region Camp. But all this happened, and 4 or 5 months later, now I'm in England playing with, you know, some of them were pros at the time. Some of them were pros in the championship. And it's just so surreal, and how quickly life changes, how quickly everything changes for you. So if you're injured right now, and you think the world is over, I'm done, my career is over, the game changes so quickly. It changes so quickly, and the things that you thought you missed out on are actually nothing compared to the things that are coming up. The things that you missed out on are nothing compared to the things that are coming. You guys have to understand that. I'm not trying to be deep or anything like that, but it just is. It is deep. The things that you're missing out on now, the things that you think you're missing out on, the things that you think that, you know, the doors are all shutting around you. You think you're being shut out, and you think that this is the end. All of those things that you're missing out on are nothing compared to what's coming. If I told you you can play for your state team or you can play in England, what would you say? You'd be like, definitely England, obviously. I want to play in England. That would be so cool. But in that moment, I didn't know. I just thought, you know, I'm missing out on my state team. This is what I'm focusing on. That's the thing, is you guys are so focused on your world that you don't see everything else. You don't see everything else around you. So the practical tip I'll give you, in order for you to be able to open your mind, the practical tip I'll give you is, in any situation, ask yourself, what can I learn? What can I learn from this situation? What can I learn from today? What can I learn from the hardships of today that will help me for tomorrow? What are the things that I can work on today that will help me tomorrow? If you're injured and you can't even walk, what do you need to do today to make tomorrow easier? Once you're able to walk, what can I do today to make sure that I can run tomorrow? What are the things I need to do today to make sure I'm fit tomorrow? I can finally practice. What are the things I can do today to make sure that I'm ready to play tomorrow? It's one step ahead. It's one step every single day. One step, one step, one step. That step might be a crawl. That step might be a run. That step might be a jump. But every single day, you have to have a progressive mindset. Progressive mindset. Going forward, never going back. Going forward. And if you do go back, we go again tomorrow. We move again. You have to understand that the things that you're missing out on now cannot compare to what you're about to receive later. If you keep up the work. So I'll give you more of the story, because, you know, I keep stopping at these little increments, and it's, you know, and teaching on that. But so from that, just remember, whatever hardship you're going through now, whatever thing you're going through now, whether that's you didn't make the team, whether that's your coach tells you you're too small, whether that's you're injured, whether that's, you know, you're not playing, like you're not playing anymore, you can't find a team, any of that stuff, you have to understand that, what can I do today to make tomorrow better? What can I do today to make tomorrow better? And then just do that. Do that thing. And then tomorrow we'll ask the question again. What can make tomorrow better? Boom. Before you know it, you'll look up and you'll say, oh my goodness, I'm on a professional team. I'm starting every game. My coach loves me. I'm getting X amount of money. I'm you know, before you know it, your dreams are just coming to you. But it only comes from progressive work. So I went to Sheffield Wednesday, played really well, talked to the coach. The coach said, yeah, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go home. You're going to finish up your high school. You're going to finish up, you know, you're going to get your passport, because my dad's English. You're going to get your passport. And then next year, once you've gotten your passport, you come back, okay? So I'm excited. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is the best thing ever, right? So I go home, and we ended up moving, actually, from, remember, I was in Georgia. I had started out here, actually, in Florida. We moved to North Georgia, where I met Daniel Johnson, Coach K, you know, some good coaches. Really started teaching me what real soccer is, like at that age, like at a 10-year-old age. What is the progression? What are the best players doing at age 10? And from that, at the age of 12, I ended up moving to South Georgia, near Atlanta, which brought it up a level. Now you don't only have one or two good coaches, you have the whole club is a good club. AFC Lightning was a very good club at the time. And I had really good players around me. So we moved to South Georgia. After 5 years of being there, After 3 years of being there, we moved, right? So we moved, before we left, we went to England. So let me get my stories right. Let me get my stories straight. When I was 14 years old, so I moved to South Georgia when I was 11. When I was 14 years old, I went to England. That's when I had my first experience with England, my first taste with England and English soccer. When I moved back, after my 15th birthday, we ended up moving to Minnesota. Minnesota, and you've heard me talk about this school many times. And I'm actually gonna have Luke Hawkinson on. If you're watching this, this is September 22nd, I believe. And we're gonna get Luke Hawkinson on the IG Live, who actually is now playing for Nashville, who actually went to Shattuck with me. And I've had countless top quality players in soccer and in other sports who went to Shattuck with me. So I went to this amazing boarding school when I was 15 years old, when I first turned 15. So when I first turned 15, I moved to this new boarding school in Minnesota, right? And this changed my life completely. I've now gone from a place of where we work pretty hard. We show up to training 3 times a week. And then once you leave, you're done. You don't see your teammates. You don't really hang out with them as much. Whatever. You only see them at the field, and that's where you hang out with them. So then you have this whole other life that you have with your other friends and all that stuff. When you move to Shattuck, when you're at Shattuck, a boarding school for athletes, for the brightest minds in the game, from all over the world. You're around excellence now. You're around excellence 24/7. There's no getting away from them. You go to school there. You train there. You play games there. You hang out there. It's Shattuck 24/7. Shattuck St. Mary's 24/7. You have to understand in that moment, you start to understand excellence. You start to understand excellence, right? You start to understand that, oh, I need to work hard 24/7. I don't need to work hard when I'm at practice. I don't need to just work hard when I'm at school. I need to work hard every single day, because that's what I am. I'm at school and I'm at practice and I'm, everything. I'm meeting with teachers. My diet is looked at. My diet is here. I'm with my coaches when I eat. I'm with my coaches around the school. Like, excellence is 24/7. Excellence is something like I posted the other day, and like Aristotle said, excellence is not an act, but a habit. So I'm not just gonna eat a good meal today. I'm gonna eat a good meal every single day. And actually I met Rick Fitt at Shattuck as well. Rick Fitt went to Shattuck. You got to understand that excellence is not an act, but a habit. A habit is first a thought. Then that thought becomes an action, and then the action becomes a habit. A habit then becomes your life, right? So what I realized at Shattuck is I actually went backwards. I went, oh, so this is my life. This is my life now. Okay, I need to create a habit, right? And then I analyzed each action, and I said, okay, and I had a thought about each action. So what I'm trying to say is, I got thrown into this new environment, and I had to adapt. I had to say, okay, am I the best? Am I the most skilled player on this team? No. Okay. What do I bring to the table? Why am I here? What am I doing here? And I found my strengths. I found my strengths were my leadership. I found my strengths were my work ethic was decent at the time. My work ethic was decent, but it wasn't the best on the team. And that's what I want to be. That's what I want to get you guys to, is understanding that your strengths have to be the best on your team, okay? It's cool having strengths. It's cool having, I have a good left foot. I work hard. I communicate. That's good. But I want that to be the best on the team, because I want you to be the best player on your team. So then now we can move on to the best player in the league, best player in the country, etc. So in this moment, I realized, and again, I'm surrounded by very, very good players who played on youth national teams. I ended up playing with a player who actually went to the Euros for Latvia. He had multiple national team caps. I played with Tito Narbonne, who was also on my IG Live, who has first team caps for Panama, Canadian caps. Goalkeeper had Canadian caps. A couple of the players had U.S. national team caps. Quality side. And so I had to realize, okay, what can I bring to this group that is not here? And immediately I thought, Dennis Rodman played for the Bulls. He would get 20 rebounds a game and have like 2 points, right? He was not worried about scoring. He just wanted to get Michael Jordan the ball. And he was the hardest working player on the team, right? He was the hardest working player on the team, and he's one of the smartest, actually. People don't realize he was one of the smartest players on the team. So I realized very early on, I need to be the smartest player on this team, I need to be the hardest working player on this team, and I need to be the most vocal player on this team. Because if you have the intelligence to know what's going on in the game, you can communicate that, and people can get into places where you don't even have to do the defending. You just get them in the right positions. So I realized I need to be the hardest working player on the team, the smartest player on the team, and the most communicative player on the team. I need to communicate the most on the team, right? And so very quickly I was able to just hone in on that and say, okay, I need to be these 3 things at the highest level, As a 15-year-old, 16, 17, 18-year-old, I need to be the best at these 3 things, the best at these 3 things. And so I absolutely obsessed over that for 4 years. 4 years, waking up every single day, 4:30 in the morning, walking 1 mile to the dome in negative 15 degrees, wearing 3 jackets, have my headphones in, Eric Thomas pumping me up in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, getting to the dome, putting in work, going to class, training after, then going to the gym every single day, 4 years. Putting in that work, putting in work, because I needed these 3 things to be the best. I needed to be the best at these 3 things. I need to be the most intelligent player. I need to be the hardest working player. I need to have the best communication. And that's what I just tuned into 1000%. So I'm going to close with, what are your 3 strengths? What are your 3 strengths? And how can you make those 3 strengths the best in the country? The best on your team, the best in the country. Why can't you be the best? Why can't you be the best at your 3 things? What are your 3 things? What are your 3 strengths that you can be the best at? Like, it's crazy. What are the 3 things that you can be the best at? Messi doesn't try to be the best header of the ball. Messi doesn't try to be the best defender. If you tell Messi you're not the best defender, he wouldn't even care, probably. What are the 3 things that you can say, I'm the best at? I am the best. When I was in high school, I was the best communicator. I was the most intelligent player. I was the hardest working player in the country. Those 3 things. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I'm not saying I could dribble past anyone. I'm not saying that I was, the best passer of the ball. I thought I was very good at passing, but I wasn't the best passer. So at the end of the day, like, what are the 3 things that you can say to yourself? I am the best at these 3 things in the country, on my team. What are the 3 things? I appreciate you guys tuning in. I will drop the part 4 coming soon. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for continuing to push through these hard times. These times have been tough for a lot of us. In January, I was in France. In January, I was in England. December, I was in France. March, I was in Germany. And now I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. It's been crazy times, guys. It's been crazy times. But you have to just put one foot in front of the other. What can I do today to make tomorrow better? What can I do today to make tomorrow better? And then just do that. And then tomorrow we'll worry about the next day. But today, worry about what you need to do, what foot you need to put in front in order to make tomorrow better. Guys, thank you so much again for tuning in to my stuff. I appreciate it. I'm just trying to see you guys win. At the end of the day, I'm just trying to see you guys win. That is it. That is the only reason I put these videos out, is I want to see you guys win, and I will keep dropping them. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys on part 4. Peace.